Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm Jeff Howe, joined by Gerry Hamilton. We're here to talk a little recruiting, but Gerry, before we talk recruiting, you have to tell everybody about our good friend Mark Saunders.
I would love to do that. He is the sole sponsor of the recruiting breakdown. That is Mark Saunders. When it comes to protecting all your stuff, wouldn't it be great to have one place, one singular place that protects it all? I got your guy. That is Texas All-State agent and Texas alum Mark Saunders, who serves the Austin and Round Rock area and the entire state of Texas. That's why he's the only insurance agent you'll need. Everything from your home, car, and boat to your motorcycle, RV, and even that ATV if you got it. I know it's hunting season around the state. Call Texas All-State agent Mark Saunders' office today at 512-218-8571. Are you in good hands? You'll be in great hands with the over 35 years of experience of Texas alum Mark Saunders. Again, give him a call if you're in the Austin or Round Rock area or the entire state of Texas. Do what so many other On Texas Football community members have done the last couple of years. That's called Mark Saunders at 512-218-8571.
Gerry, we love the state of Texas, but let's go to a state. Let's head east, a place where Longhorn fans got familiar with this year, that Peach State in Georgia. Johnny Nansen, Kenny Baker, Tashard Choice. A whole host of the staff was on the road yesterday in Georgia. Texas went to Georgia in that 2025 cycle, landed Justice Terry and Gerry. It sounds like the state of Georgia is going to continue to be a priority for the Longhorns.
It is. And how do you follow up your first successful class in Georgia, right? Justice Terry, Zealous Hicks, Nick Brooks, Emory Winston. I mean, even though Nick Brooks was from Iowa, we finished high school in Atlanta at 4 guys. Mm-hmm. Texas has never done that before. So how do you follow that up? Well, you send more coaches. And that's what Texas did yesterday. Chris Gilbert was on the road with Johnny Nansen, Tashard Choice, and Kenny Baker. And who do they go visit? Everybody that's really good yesterday and today. They're back in the state again today. But yesterday, a big visit was Tyler Atkinson, the 5-star linebacker from Grayson, teammate of Nick Brooks in high school. And you remember Joseph Mbaktu recruitment, committed to Texas for about 12 hours and then decommitted and went to Florida. But Grayson, one state, one of the most talented programs in the country, and Tyler Atkinson is, if not the best, one of the top 2 or 3 linebackers in 2026, the 5-star there. He's been on campus a couple of times. He was there for the Georgia game. This year, Georgia is the chief competition. I think Ohio State, Notre Dame, Clemson, Auburn, Tennessee are your other schools in it for Tyler Atkinson. But we expect Tyler Atkinson to be back on campus this spring and probably for an official visit in June if things keep matriculating down the recruiting field, we'll say. But look, all 4 of those Texas coaches spent multiple hours at an in-home visit. They went by the high school, then they had an in-home visit with Tyler Atkinson and his family. So that was a all-in recruitment for Texas with Tyler Atkinson. They also talked to Anthony Davis, the 2026 linebacker at Grayson, a guy that has a Texas offer, a guy that Texas really likes, another junior linebacker at the same school. They also went to Buford to see Nasir McCoy, one of the top junior safeties in America, Bryce Perry Wright, defensive lineman there that Texas has offered. And they made their rounds to a number of places and are out again today in the Atlanta area. But Texas has 4 coaches there in the area right now, and I'm not sure they will today, but Chris Gilbert and Tashard Choice and Kenny Baker are moving around. And prior to Kenny Baker ever getting down to Atlanta, he offered one of the top junior defensive linemen in the country. That was up at Blue Ridge School in Virginia. Texas is casting a wide national net. This is the first guy offered in Virginia for Texas in a while. And he just happens to be one of the top defensive linemen in the country. So from there, Kenny Baker got into Atlanta. They went around. They also went to Gainesville High in Georgia, home of many top prospects, including Deshaun Watson was the quarterback there before he went to Clemson. That is one of the top linebackers in the country, Xavier Lewis, who's committed to USC. He is absolutely Xavier Griffin, I should say, one of those 5-star linebackers along with Tyler Atkinson. The state of Georgia is absolutely loaded at linebacker in this cycle. Last cycle, it was D-line. This cycle, they have linebackers for days. And those are the 2 best, though, Tyler Atkinson and Xavier, who Texas went to see yesterday. Texas is going to make a run at all these guys. So they got off to a fast start in the Atlanta area yesterday. Today, Tashard Choice is expected to go see Amari Latimer, one of the top 3 running backs on the board, one of the top 2 running backs on the board, more likely from Sandy Creek High there in Tyrone in the Atlanta area. Probably it wouldn't shock us to see Tashard Choice at his basketball game tonight.
Yeah, Gerry, I know you've talked about this in Week and See It. The Southeast is going to be a priority for Texas. Really just go down that I-10 corridor from Houston all the way to Jacksonville and boom, spread out and go to Georgia and Florida So let's head south, Gerry. What's going on in the Sunshine State right now?
There's going to be a lot the rest of the week. First off, on Thursday, assuming Steve Sarkisian's over the flu and able to travel, Sarkisian, Kyle Flood, AJ Milwee, offensive staff, Chris Jackson, they're all expected to be at American Heritage to have an in-school visit with Diabell and his family. So that's first of all down there. Before that happens, you're going to see Texas coaches at IMG. I think we're going to watch some video of one of the top offensive linemen in the country there at IMG, a junior, Kenye Pepe, offensive tackle, and there's Brett Kolajay, offensive guard there as well. And you're going to see Kyle Flood. This is Pepe, the left tackle here, 6'7", 310 pounds, a guy that Texas will get on campus this spring, one of the top offensive tackles in the country. I know we'll get into offensive line recruiting in a second, but it kind of goes with what we're talking about here. I think we'll see Jeff Banks and Kenny Baker go see Elijah Golden, defensive lineman in Sarasota, one of the top D linemen in the country. A lot of people have pegged for Notre Dame. I think he's at Cardinal Mooney. You'll see Kyle Flood at Clearwater High to see Samuel Rosenborough, one of the top offensive tackles in the country. He right tackle. He made a visit for a game this season. He has family living in Austin. We have more of that on ontexasfootball.com and an offensive line article. I think you're going to see Tashard Choice and Jeff Banks in the Orlando area and on that I-4 Tampa corridor, some areas they've had success before. And you're going to see Chris Jackson later this week in Jacksonville at the Bowles School to see the blazing fast wide receiver Naeem Burrows, one of the top wide receivers on the board, who we expect to run in the 10-4s this spring. So the state of Florida and Texas already offered Trenton Henderson, one of the top defensive linemen, edge prospects in the country, out of Pensacola. So Texas they're going to be active in Florida, just as active in Florida as they are in Georgia. And with the success they've had the last three classes in Florida, there is no reason not to offer more guys and have more foot traffic and time spent in the Sunshine State.
Gerry, before we get back to coaches on the road and the position specifics, seems like this Sark staff has maybe done the best job of any Texas staff I've seen, probably since, start with that Mac Brown staff. Any staff I've seen that's really found the right balance between recruiting in-state and going out of state. I know the move to the SEC and the dynamics in college football, they're on different planets now compared to where they were even 5 or 10 years ago. But are you surprised at how good this staff has been at balancing that out? I don't hear anything negative from high school coaches or anybody like that in the state, and they're taking care of business out of state too.
Yeah, they are. And look, Jeff, when we got into this business, it was, the Mac Brown years and everybody is supposed to stay in state. And the Texas high school coaches had this tight-knit community and you had to recruit their players. But look, times have changed. More players have moved into Texas from California and other areas of this around the country. All these kids didn't grow up with A&M and Texas jerseys on. There's more kids that leave the state now. When A&M moved to the SEC, that opened up the borders in this state. So the argument for people saying all these kids should stay in state, it's just not there anymore. And if the college coaches don't adapt to that, then they're going to get fired. And with the move to the SEC, yeah, absolutely. And, Louisiana was the obvious one, but I do think Sark built his staff when he was hired with, Jeff Banks, who'd recruited that Tampa area and all the Southeast. Kyle Flood had recruited all that area at Alabama. Bo Davis, when he was hired, had extensive recruiting experience in that area as well. So I think they've done a great job balancing it.
Gerry, we talked about receivers just a minute ago. You mentioned a couple of guys. Chris Jackson on the road doing his thing all over the place. Where's he going to be the rest of the week?
Yeah, so Monday he was at Destrehan to see Jabari Mack right after coming off the junior day visit. Jabari Mack had at Texas. He's going to go see Tristan Keys at Hattiesburg, a 5-star receiver. Texas has shown some interest in really starting last week. I mean, he just released a list. Texas wasn't on it. But Tristan Keys has connections to KJ Lacey from 7-on-7. They have a friendship. And he talks with Diabell. I think there's some mutual interest there. We'll see where it goes. But Chris Jackson's going to go see Tristan Keys at Hattiesburg. He's also going to go see Aaron Gregory, the 4-star plus top 75 level prospect in the country at Douglasville County High in Douglasville, Georgia, Douglas County High in Douglasville. He's committed to Texas A&M, a guy Texas has offered and they've been working on a while. So Chris Jackson will see him. He'll also see 2 or 3 of the other young kids. Then he goes to Jacksonville to see Naeem Burrows. the guy we talked about earlier, the speedster that is going to run in the 10-4s at the Bowles School, the private school, which is one of the best talent producing schools in the state of Florida there in Jacksonville. So could Chris Jackson have success 2 years in a row in Jacksonville after getting Jamie French? Last year, Texas had never won a recruitment in Jacksonville in my years doing this, Jeff. I can't remember. I don't think you can either. No. That was new territory. And so Chris Jackson is he's really going after it. He's hitting Louisiana, hitting Mississippi, stopping off in Georgia, and he's getting in the week in Florida. And Texas, Chris Jackson, again, he's going after the best. And, in-state, Caden Finley is the top guy in state for Texas. But there's a number of targets out of state in the Southeast that are interested in Texas, and Texas likes a lot.
By the way, most famous Bowl School alum, probably Chipper Jones.
Yes, good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I forgot because he's from Sanford, Florida, right outside Orlando, but he ended up finishing school at Bowles. I mean, he is a Hall of Famer, right?
I knew reading the back of that 91 Topps card would get me somewhere someday. Gerry, let's go to the offensive line. After getting a chance to chop it up with some of these guys at Junior Day, I am fascinated by the 2026 offensive line cycle for several reasons. One, how many is Kyle Flood going to need to take? Because we do expect some attrition at some point, maybe after spring ball, because a lot of these guys will see the writing on the wall that if they want to play, it's probably not going to be at Texas. And Kyle Flood likes big people. And Gerry, I can't remember a class in the state of Texas where there was this much beef and deep in number too, in terms of guys. We're not talking about 300 pounders, Gerry. We're talking about guys 330, 340. In the case of Toa Katoa, 370 plus.
Yeah, no, it's a great class in state. And that's what's interesting for me in this class. The number is going to be 5 or 6. It's going to be 5. The question is, does it go to 6? Probably if it's the correct guys. Can you get them all? We'll see. But it's a great year in state for offensive linemen, but it's also a great year nationally for offensive linemen. So you put those together, and at Texas, Kyle Flood has some really tough decisions to make. It doesn't mean you're going to get every guy you want. Nobody does. But it's going to force Texas' hand because, look, they went out to California 2 weeks ago. Sam Utu, one of the top offensive linemen in the country at Orange Lutheran. Texas has a legitimate shot at him. They offered Cody Green, the right tackle at Mater Dei, who's a top 50 kid in the country. He's committed to Oregon. He's probably going to visit this spring. We'll see what happens. Then you work your way back to Texas, Jeff. Some of the guys you saw, I mean, Toa Katoa and Nicholas Robertson, those are two guys that can commit to Texas right now as guard prospects. Max Wright, I believe, can commit to Texas as tackle/guard. So then you had Felix Ojo, one of the top tackles in the country. John Turntine, Felix Ojo, those for sure tackle guys. Those are two of them in state. And then you have a guy like Zayden Crimpin at Prosper, who's kind of that crossover guy. He plays tackle. I'm not sure if that arm length, unless he really grows, is going to allow for tackling, maybe a better guard center. Then you have a kid that wasn't at Junior Day that is really impressed on junior video. Texas offered him in June at Elite Camp as Noah Best at Midlothian. I mean, Noah Best had a tremendous junior season. He wasn't even at Junior Day. But now we get into, okay, what's left? If Kyle Flood's worked his way east now, we mentioned the two linemen at IMG. That's Brock Colajay, the guard, who's originally from Denver, Colorado area. He's been on campus. And then Kenye Pepe. So we'll see what happens there if Texas gets him on campus this spring. I think they will. Then there's Samuel Rosenborough in Clearwater, who's one of the top offensive tackles in the country, who has family ties in the Austin area right now. So Texas is going to be in on him. There's some tough decisions that are going to have to be made. Now, again, you're not going to get all these guys, but we have a story on ontexasfootball.com today, which outlines just how many top prospects Texas is in on, and how they're going to be able to put together an elite offensive line class of 5 or 6 guys. I'm like you, Jeff. I'm fascinated to see which way it goes. I think one of the keys, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record on this, is the majority of these guys play left tackle in high school.
Right.
And a lot of these guys want to remain left tackles. And we saw in the last class, Michael Fasusi and Lamont Rogers out of DFW were not going to go to the same school because they both wanted to play left tackle. How is that going to work its way out in this class for Texas? And Texas didn't get either one. I'm just saying those guys weren't going to go to the same school, and they consider a lot of the same schools. How's it going to play out for Texas in this cycle at tackle? Because they need 2 or 3, but one of those guys has to be willing to play right tackle or already be a right tackle. I'm fascinated to see how Kyle Flood and Sark are going to make this thing work out. But I'll say this: I'll predict that they're going to sign an elite offensive line class in 26.
Going back to the Junior Day real quick, Gerry, we already had some of those offensive linemen, some of them locked in visits for that weekend of the 13th, that weekend of the 20th. I don't think it's going to surprise you if we see some action in June where maybe, I don't know, you get 2-3 offensive linemen on the board and really start to see what this class crystallizes in the month of June.
Yeah, I think it may happen before that as well. Honestly, I could see a couple of these guys committing in March around the Texas spring game. I think there was a couple of timelines that could have really sped up, but Sark was sick and wasn't there to have the meetings. Yeah. So I think we're looking more February, March potentially for a couple of guys coming off the board even before those June official visits, because the one thing Texas has going for them in this class is because it's a tremendous year and there's so many high-level linemen looking at Texas, they do have the ability to get a couple of guys on the board. We call it squeezing and recruiting. Or, look, man, simply just saying, we got 3 guys at the same spot. Mm-hmm. If you want to jump on, we want you. But, I think you're going to see a couple of guys do that here in the spring potentially.
Well, CJ will have more on the road. He's in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, but I don't know, maybe he'll kick around, do some other things. Yeah. Gerry, I know you've always got your ear to the ground to hear what's going on. Like Gerry said, that offensive line piece, if you have not been over to ontexasfootball.com to check that out, please do so now. And Gerry, I guess this is the best time. I hate the shameless self-promotion, but my last name is a promo code until the end of the night.
Yes.
Tonight, Tuesday night, at the close of business is the last time. Type in the promo code Howe. Get 1 year of ontexasfootball.com access for $39.95. No word on if Coach Shipley's code of typing in Shipley gets you $79.95. And as he said, a kick in the crotch. So I don't know if that works or if Gerry is a trader, we'll get you that lifetime subscription. But type in my last name in the promo code Howe, Howe, $39.95 for 1 year access of ontexasfootball.com. And Gerry, we're doing our thing on YouTube and on video and audio, but we're growing this website, and I'm liking where things are headed for us in 2025.
Absolutely. And Jeff Howe, a great addition to On Texas Football, one of the very best that covers Texas, and we're happy to have him, a friend. We get to work together again, and come on over to ontexasfootball.com, make fun of me always. Joe Z pays $39.95 a year to make fun of me. You may as well do it too.
All right, that's going to do it for right now. For Gerry Hamilton, I'm Jeff Howe. Again, get over to ontexasfootball.com and stay tuned to On Texas Football for all of our video on Texas recruiting.
All right, Tank King, one of the top linebackers in 2026 in the state of Texas. You're at Texas on Saturday. We talked to you very briefly, but I wanted to come down here and get, a more in-depth with you. What was that trip like for you, going back to Austin and seeing the staff once again?
Man, it's been a really exciting place, man, to visit down to Coach Nason. Coach Nason is really like a second father to me. And when I come down there, he really gave me some tips about my game, what's my footwork, my eyes, and everything.
Well, was he able to sit down with you, kind of go over some tape and just kind of say, hey, here's some tips, some tricks, anything like that?
We went over their LB's tape and showing the flaws and the good things about what to doing into a game.
What did you learn about Texas linebackers?
Hey, there are dogs down there, man. Yeah, dogs. They really play a high intensity. Speed is everything at Texas right now.
Speaking of speed, you're going to be running track this year.
Yes, sir.
What are some numbers that you're aiming for? And you're running the 100 and the 200, right?
Right. In the 100, I'm trying to get down to 10. Right now I'm 11 flat right now. I'm trying to get down to 10 and 200. I don't even know my time in the 200, but I'm trying to be my
trying to chop it down a little bit.
Chop it down.
Well, there you go. I know we just talked a little bit in terms of what you want to improve on as well this offseason. What is that? What are some of the things that you're looking at and say, okay, this year I'm focusing on A, B, C?
Really, my communication skills, trying to be a better leader for the younger guys that are coming up for me. Really just trying to read and visualize and attack the offense.
I guess going back to your visit to Texas, was there anything that you didn't know about Texas that you came away saying, wow, okay, that's something that maybe surprised me a little bit?
Well, knowing me, I was a big Texas guy when I was little too.
Okay.
So I really know everything, but not that I know of. I think I know everything about Texas. Yes, sir.
Now, did you train or play with Ty Anthony as well?
I trained with him.
You trained with him?
At 4-9 Fit. Yes, sir.
Did he say anything on the trip? Did he start recruiting you as well?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's his recruiting pitch? Just say, hey, I came in at 195 pounds.
Right.
I'm 215 now. Did you see that his development physically, I guess?
Yes, I did. He came a long way from 190 pounds to to my weight right now. So he's a really good player.
And so we have it on the camera here. You're 6'2", 215, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to play at next fall, or are you trying to get a little bit bigger? What do you think?
Well, wherever Texas want me to be. Yes, sir. I can play at any weight.
Listen, if you're running sub 11 at 6'2", 215, 220, you're doing something right there.
Yes, sir. Right.
And going back to your recruitment, we mentioned Texas. I know that there are plenty other schools that are coming after you right now. Who are some of the schools that are starting to hit you up the most at the moment?
Right now, it's Michigan, A&M, Alabama, Nebraska, and many more.
You have any visits to go see them?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to visit Nebraska in the spring, Michigan if they're free.
Okay.
Also, and is also.
Well, good deal. I know you got a long ways to go before a decision, but I did want to go back to your development because you said being a leader is a big part of what you improve on.
Yes.
How do you work on that? Is that just in the weight room? Is that with the team? How do you go about becoming a better vocal leader?
Well, it starts outside of working out. It starts by making the right choices and trying to fix the mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And then
Jackson, Clayton.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, down in Port Arthur Memorial High School, Brock King 2026 cornerback. You're down in Austin this past weekend. Let me get your first reactions to going to see Texas, seeing the staff, seeing the campus once again.
Oh, man, it was a great, amazing time. Got to hang around some people I know, got to bond some people I know, and it was just great. Get to meet my cousin, Ty Anthony Smith, so it was like a second nature to me. So it was just like, it felt like home, so it's like, they welcomed me, I welcomed them, so it was just like a brotherhood.
You mentioned Ty Anthony, but also Jalen Gilbo, another PA guy down here.
I do. That's what I do, yeah.
Did you get to see, Ty Anthony, Jalen? Who all did you get to kind of hang out with on the player side on the trip?
I got to hang out with Ty Anthony, Kay Phillips, Caleb Chester, too. We used to work out with Rokane out there. So, yeah, it's like, they're like a brother. So, it's like they take care of me, I take care of them. So,
what they have to say about Texas? Were they recruiting you?
Basically, yeah. They're always telling me, just come here. It's like home. So they trying to like convince me to commit, and it was just like they want me to come to the team too.
Right.
So basically, like stay together, because why not? We used to play on the same team in high school, so why not go to the same college? So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good recruiting pitch for them. I want to ask you about the trip. Obviously, Sark wasn't there, right? He was under the weather, but you did get to hang out with Coach Joseph, because some of the other guys on the staff. Who were you really able to connect with and sit down and have conversations with?
Coach Patrick Crowley.
Okay.
He got to talk to me like about the ins and outs, about the football, about the committing, and what was going on in here. And Coach Joseph too. He got to run through the scheme with the DBs of what they be running and how they gonna play and what they would do with me too. So it was like that's basically it. And we were just like chopping it up about like how it is, what they would do, and that's it.
What'd you learn about Texas that maybe you didn't know going into the trip?
I mean, since I've been a little kid, I've been in Texas in 8th grade, so I already knew a lot. Mm-hmm. So it been brought to me. But Coach Joseph, he taught me a lot of things about like the technique, flat foot read, and just watching the schemes of how different people play, and it leads on to the next. So it's like developing me too for the next level. So
yeah. I know you still got a ways away before you got to make a decision, but where does Texas kind of sit for you? Are they in a top group? Are they kind of sitting there with you?
For sure in the top group.
Okay.
For sure in the top.
So who else are some of those schools that are really coming after you, starting to recruit you hard right now?
TCU, SMU, Oregon. I want to say Arizona State, Arkansas, Nebraska, and many more. So yeah.
So yeah, plenty of schools in the region. Some SEC, Big 12, whatever it is. Does staying close to home, is that important for you? Or is it just where you can find a fit, get on the field? That's
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like where I can find a fit, cause like forever, like for me, like no matter where I'm at, my people gonna forever be straight. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Like I just want to go play. Like, I just want to play ball. That's it.
And of course, asking you about your family. Where'd you get the athleticism from? Is that mom? Is that dad?
Oh, it's like. It runs through the family. Through the family. So my cousin, Bryce Anderson at A&M.
Yeah.
Lil C, he went to he was a free agent in the NFL. He went to Utah State. So it was like a bloodline. So it just dropped down every time. So really just like it's born for me. Like it's born for me to make it to the league. So, yeah.
Well, good deal. Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, I know you mentioned Big 12 SEC schools all recruiting you. Do you have any other visits for next week? You know, February, March, anything like that? Any schools you want to see that you haven't yet?
Yeah, I want to go to Michigan.
Okay.
I want to go to Nebraska. I want to go back to TCU, SMU. I gotta go to Oregon. You know, gotta go out to Oregon and
go see what Nike's all about, huh?
Yeah,
that'll be a good one. And then in terms of official visits, did Texas set one up with you? Are you talking to them about maybe scheduling one? Where's that right now in terms of?
Yeah, we're talking about one right now. You know, just saying it depends on how my schedule is too. Yeah. So basically, we're just waiting on the right time, just to make that happen. And
then how are you going to commit? Are you going to have a big ceremony down here? Are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a whole commitment video, big ceremony, just all get together and just basically just get bond.
Is that still a ways away? You think you still got an idea maybe, or you're gonna just we got plenty of time until December?
Yeah, we're just gonna be quiet about that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, fair enough. And then for folks who maybe haven't seen your tape yet and are watching you, learning about you for the first time, tell them a little about the football player that you are. What are some of the strengths of your game?
Oh man, I'm a dog. I'm gonna come out to the field. I'm gonna bring the energy. I'm gonna always stand on my business. Help the team, motivate the others, and I'm gonna just play a team as a team player. I'm gonna just grind.
Perfect, Brock. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.